I quit my job because I can't take care of my basic needs and work 40 hours a week at the same time. It's really hard to say this out loud and put it online, but I know that I'm not the only person going through this. I've almost been fired from every job that I've ever had, and it's not because I'm not smart. I actually tend to overperform in the beginning. It's just that after some time, I inevitably burn out once I wake up one day and realize that I haven't taken a shower in like 3 weeks. It's really frustrating because I know that I'm an intelligent person and I've been able to accomplish a lot of really amazing things in my life, but I still can't manage to take care of myself. And it's not just a matter of not trying hard enough or not being disciplined. If I could take care of my basic needs and work full time, I would have fucking done that by now and then some. It's a form of self-sabotage to honestly be putting so much energy into these executive functioning skills at work and not have anything left to give myself. It's like I would deadass wake up at 5 a.m., pace back and forth, start working at 7, finish work at 6, eat, sleep for dinner, and then crawl in bed at 8 o'clock. And it's like a part of me does feel insane by quitting at the verge of a recession, but it's like if I actually want to build a future for myself and get there in one piece, taking care of myself has to become my full-time job. I was not born to raise shareholder value. I'm actually meant to live a life, and I need to learn how to be a person in order to do that. So,
all right, now she says she not the only one that feel this way, so y'all let me know which one of y'all haven't been taking showers for the past 3 weeks. But nah, man, so we got this woman right here. She says that she's overwhelmed with working. She says 40 hours a week is not enough. She says she finds herself not being able to take care of her basic needs at home and still perform well at the jobs. She says she's been through a few jobs, and she starts off being a good employee, performing very well, but over time it's just like she can't take care of her basic needs, and it's draining on her mentally. Now we see this perspective from a lot of kids nowadays, and when I say kids, I mean Gen Z and younger millennials, as far as not wanting to work, feeling depressed, they're feeling the stresses of life, they're getting all this extra anxiety. And then the older generations, they don't really understand because they've been through the same things, been through not wanting to work, but they sat there and they did it. They did it and they got it done. And now, I'm just here trying to bridge the gap and, provide some understanding. And also, I don't think I hit on this point either. I feel like she works in a more so corporate setting because she talked about bringing shareholders value, and she talked about being in like executive roles at her job. To me, I feel like this is like a fairly new thing for a woman to be in these positions. Yes, women have been executives in high positions in jobs and in workplaces for a while now, since they've gotten the right to actually be in these positions at companies. And we had DEI and all this stuff to be able to allow them to get these positions, but a lot of them are finding that they don't want to be in these positions. And to me, I always say that I don't believe that most women want to work, but they feel like they have to work to be able to, provide a living for themselves. I think she's around 28 years old, and that's my age. I know a lot of women around that age, and yeah, they all complain about having to go to work. They rather live a more soft life, be in their feminine role, and be able to take care of themselves. Now, on the other hand, she's making some excuses. I'm not gonna lie. It's no excuse to not be able to take 10 to 20 minutes to take a shower. I think we can all agree with that. It doesn't matter, man or woman, you got time to take a shower. Like, as far as the rest of your basic needs, you have to understand, when you're in high positions, especially in corporate, or you're running your own business, even, it's not going to be this perfect work-life balance. If you're going to be a high performer, you're going to have to sacrifice in some area, and it might come at a cost to your mental health and your how much you're able to take care of yourself. It just might be a cost to that, right? which is like unfortunate. Like I said, I don't think women should even be in that position. I think men, suffering is a part of our life that we need to go through to be able to become better men and be able to be a good provider and protector. And if we're smart, we eventually put ourselves in position to where we're not trading our time for money anymore, and we get ourselves into a good position to where we're either trading a product for money, or at least if we're trading time, we set the value on that time, not the job tells us how much our time is worth. For example, if someone was to ask me right now, how much would I charge for an hour of my time? It's going to be at least $100-$200 an hour if you want like a consultation to talk to me, or like a personal training session. Rather, if I worked at Planet Fitness, they're going to tell me, no, you're going to work for $17 an hour and you're going to take whatever client we give you. You don't get to pick your own clients, right? So it's a difference. But men, we understand that we got to go through the BS. I went through the BS. I was working 40 hours a week at Amazon. I didn't like it, but I got myself out of that position. And I made a video not too long ago about men feeling like, they're stuck. They don't want to be at these jobs and all that stuff. And I talked a little bit about how I talked a little bit before about how I was able to start at the bottom level, but I always looked at a job as like a stepping stone. Now for her as a woman, it's going to be a little bit different. She's moving a little bit more emotionally. That's why she's not staying at these jobs long term and finding herself going through the same process of getting a job, being excited about it, working hard, but eventually she gets to a point where she just doesn't want to be there anymore. And, she feels like she should be spending more time on herself, which she probably, like realistically, probably should. And honestly, in 2025, the only way this is going to happen for you as a woman is to find a man that's a hard worker. Gonna need a hardworking man, a guy that's a high performer, a guy that's willing to, be a more so traditional guy and let you live a softer life while he's the one kind of putting in the work. But it's like when you're doing that, you are able to also cater to him and cater to some of his basic needs. The problem with you as a more so single woman working hard in this high paying position, in this role, this executive role, whatever job she had, the problem with that is when you come home, you got to cater to yourself instead of, the man coming home and he got a woman there to cater to him. Us as men, we kind of used to it, where you'll see a guy that's a single guy. If he's not catering to himself at home, his house is probably very messy. He got clothes everywhere, trash everywhere and stuff like that. But a guy is more likely to be cool living like that than a woman. A woman wants to make sure her house is clean. She wants to make sure she's taken care of. She's well groomed and all this different stuff. Maybe not this one specifically, since she's going weeks without taking a shower. But most women, they want to take care of themselves and take care of their space. It's going to be hard to do that when you are working a job like that. And her specifically, it's not like she has like a lower role where it's kind of, okay, you do the job and you go home. Once you start moving up the ranks at any job, it becomes a bigger part of your life. I'll say you got more responsibilities. Your coworkers, they got your number. They hitting you up about work stuff while you're at home. So it's like you never really clock out. Even though you clock out, you still might be basically on call, and people might have questions. They might be telling you about stuff you need to prepare for the next day. You might got meetings you got to go to. And if you're a salary worker, it's not like you're getting overtime for any of this stuff. You're going to get paid the same rate no matter how long extra time you got to spend working. So these are things to think about when you're a woman and you're going the more so career route. That's why me personally, I think women should more so, if you want to work a job, you want to work a career, that's totally fine. But if you want a way out of that, make sure you are spending time, making sure that you are developing those wife qualities so a good man can come into your life. That's just my advice on it. She's 28. She ain't hit the wall yet, as the more so red pill guys would say. They say, hey, after the woman hit 30, it's over for her. That's what a lot of like the more so red pill guys say. So even for those type of guys, she's just at that line. But I do think she should, if these 40-hour a week jobs ain't working out and she still wants to secure her future, find a husband. Find a husband, not just a boyfriend. Find a husband, because if you find a husband and you get a man to sign that slave contract, then you got some security there. If he's a high performer, he got a good job, and maybe you were help with him there to help him build himself up some, then you got real estate in his life. And either way, if he stays with you the long term or not, maybe you could get some alimony, maybe you can, child support payments, whatever you can get out of it, or maybe just a divorce settlement, right? So you still have more so security for your future. If you find a husband, these jobs, they not giving you security for your future if you're not staying there for at least 30, 40 years. And most women, they, y'all like to live in that chaotic energy. Y'all like to, be doing more creative stuff. Like, it's like just not y'all natural role. I'm not saying y'all can't do it. We see women all the time doing great at jobs and careers, but it usually comes as somewhat of a sacrifice in their personal life. And that's basically what this woman right here is going through. But let me know what y'all think about this video down below in the comments. And let me know what you think about what she said and her not taking a shower in 3 weeks. I think that's insane. No matter like 40 hours a week, you got time to take a shower, shorty. That's just how I feel about it. Now fully taking care of yourself, doing all things you need to do, hitting the gym, meditating, reading, working on a business outside of that's going to take that extra sacrifice, and you might be losing some sleep. It's just never going to be a full balance for you. But like I said, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Give your boy a like, share, comment, and subscribe if you're rocking with the content. I'm out. Love y'all.